Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. I'm called Morinzi and major stories. At the time, observers told the Cameroon government was abandoning the military option as an answer to the crisis in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. There has instead been a change on the type of armored cars to be used. And the state of Cameroon lost over 17 billion francs CFA to the bad practice of corruption in the year 2020. The report presented this September 23 reveals that the road transport sector is the most decried with 17% of overall corruption rate. And women and daughters of the Bonambela canton have since this morning been searching for their king, Dean Adika Akwa III, who traveled to the world beyond in January 2021. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. At the time, observers say they thought that the Cameroon government was abandoning its military option as an answer to the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. There has instead been a change on the type of armored cars to be used in that part of the country. Immediately after the defense minister spoke of a change of tactics and left Bamenda real war armored vehicles started driving in the northwest regional capital, Bamenda. Our reporter Annie Collins Agnes observed some of those armored cars. His story.
After Wednesday announcement by the Minister of Defense during a security meeting in Bamenda that government would step up her game in the fight against separatist fighters in the northwest and southwest regions, this is the new version of armored cars that began streaming into Bamenda. Though most parts of the northwest region is currently experiencing a long period of lockdown, with most inhabitants staying indoors, the few at the upstation entry point who saw the thick-skinned long-range bombardier vessels got frightened and commented in their various ways.
I'm happy, I'm happy.
But, as the defense boss said, government is resolute and has also decided to stand firm and match the firepower of the rocket-propelled launchers into which self-styled separatist generals have graduated, as seen in the Cliquez and Bamising attacks of recent.
The High Military Command and myself, dispatched by the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, in the aftermath of the bloody and treacherous attacks whereby the defense and security forces have been subject to of late in this region by irredentist separatists, obviously equipped with increasingly sophisticated equipment and benefiting, this is an established fact, from human and external material support.
When journalists hanging outside the meeting hall saw the governor, the SDU, the Attorney General and the Delegate of National Security coming out, whereas the meeting was still ongoing, the press immediately understood the meeting was shifting gear. The level at which the gear was shifted will be known in the hotspots of the northwest region in the near future.
The United Nations Secretary General for African Affairs, Thibault Nagy, has reacted to the degenerating crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. In his tweet, Thibault Nagy said he was so sorry to see the increased violence in Cameroon Anglophone conflict, emphasizing that he had warned for years that if not resolved, the conflict would get deadlier and spread. He maintained that there is no military solution to the conflict, saying what is in the human spirit cannot be extinguished with a force. In March 2020, Thibault Nagy, the U.S. Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, reiterated that the government of Cameroon has done nothing to resolve the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Let's take a listen.
I totally understand. I wish there was a magic bullet that we could fire to fix the situation. As I said, the international community needs to be absolutely united on this. Because of the outrages recently, I'm very much hoping that there will be much more of a unity in our willingness to be firmer in responding to this with the Cameroonian government. I wish the Cameroonian government would recognize the fact that there's no way they are going to win this militarily.
A region of Cameroon has lost one of its oldest traditional rulers. The king of the fawn of Kambe died yesterday, just at the time when the regional assembly was wrapping up its second ordinary session, from where Fonjabo Ibrahim had been absent due to illness that has finally taken away his life. The details in the following story.
The Northwest Regional House of Chiefs is once more bereaved. The death has been reported of Fonjabo for Ibrahim of Kambe yesterday, Wednesday, after taking ill. His absence was remarkable during the September ordinary session of the Regional Assembly that ran from Monday to yesterday, Wednesday, in Bamenda. The grey-haired Fonjabo Ibrahim had for many times been congratulated by Northwest Governor Adolphine Lafrique for wisely advising the people of Kambe not to heed to secessionist tendencies, reason why Kambe has up to date been an island of peace in an almost entirely turbulent northwest region. The atmosphere is reportedly low-keyed at the traditional palace situated behind the municipal grandstand, which carries the name of the now late traditional ruler, one of the few of the old breeds of northwest traditional rulers who is still alive.
Women and daughters of Bonambela Canton have since this morning been searching for their king, Dindika III, who traveled to the world beyond in January 2021. The women are out as tradition demands to mourn their king. As we hear the following story with Gladys Ambo Tiba.
A display of funeral rites of the Sawa tradition, more than 300 women, daughters and granddaughters of the Bonambela and Bel cantons are in search of their king as tradition demands. King Dindika Akwa III passed on in January 2021.
The women and daughters from Akwa are looking for their king, and they went in different villages here in Douala, and they saw that the king was not in Daido, he wasn't in Japomad, wasn't in the different villages, and they arrived here to say to us, to our king, King Bel, where is your brother? Where is King Akwa?
The women and daughters, dressed in black, barefooted with sticks in their hands that express their distress, have searched from one village to the other, cried, danced, and questioned his whereabouts from King Bel.
These girls came to see me, as they used to do, to ask me if I saw him.
King Bel told to those ladies that their king is not here. He went here, he passed from here, but he said that maybe he's in Bonadibong, because they met, they spoke together about love affairs of the villages, but now he's no more here in Bel's canton. He's now back to Bonadibong. They have to go there and look at him there, because maybe they will find him.
The rich and symbolic funeral rites in honor of King Ding Dika Okwa III that started on Monday, September 20, will wrap up on Saturday, September 25, with an official farewell ceremony at the Beseke Ceremonial Ground.
And time is running out for the UN 2030 agenda on sustainable development to be fully achieved in Cameroon. By this token, the resident coordinator, Dr. Matthias Knapp, is in Douala to foster the implementation of the Agenda 2030. He has met with some private sector stakeholders, as Kejan Henry Tembe tells us more.
The United Nations resident coordinator in Cameroon, Dr. Matthias Knapp, is in Douala to strengthen relations with partners and to foster the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, which you can be in the epicenter of business membership. Dr. Matthias Knapp flagged off his UN's initiative in Douala on September 21 with private sector stakeholders for the achievement of the 2030 agenda.
The reason for my visit here to the GCAM is threefold. One, to acknowledge the very important role that the GCAM plays in the transformational development of this country. Two, to thank the GCAM for their effective engagement with the UN system through several engagements that the GCAM has with a number of UN entities. And three, of course, to continue to encourage the GCAM and the private sector in support of the attainment of the SDGs.
The resident coordinator said the apprehension about the COVID-19 pandemic may only retard Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which is health and well-being.
There's a lot of apprehension about the vaccinations and the vaccines. I want to use this opportunity to also call on all our friends and family that it's important to get vaccinated, because that's the only way we can actually reduce the spread of this pandemic.
Among the stakeholders visited was the International Finance Corporation, which is a private sector arm of the World Bank, working to end poverty by boosting shared prosperity.
We also highlighted the importance of the energy sector, because without energy we don't have connectivity, access to internet, and quality of the resources into other sectors like telecommunication depends on energy, agriculture depends on energy, the healthcare and education system depend on energy.
From the IFC, Dr. Knapp had deep exchanges with the Director General of the Port Authority, Cyrus Ngo. The tour of Dr. Knapp's visit took him to the Pan-African Institute of Development, West Africa, and the warehouse of the World Food Programme to be abreast with its operations.
Over 50 journalists are drawn from the Central African sub-region are currently being trained on the One Health approach, which seeks to demonstrate the connection between health of man, plants and animals. The seminar is coming on the heels of the COVID-19 pandemic that has clearly demonstrated certain emerging diseases have their origins from animals, a reason why man needs to be on the watch out, as Regina Leketanda tells us more.
They are media professionals drawn from different countries of the Central African sub-region. For 4 days in Douala, Cameroon, these members of the Food Estate and communication experts are having their capacities reinforced on the One Health approach, which seeks to achieve optimal health outcomes by recognizing the interconnection between people, animals, plants, and a shared environment.
From this workshop, what we want to do is to be able to make available information to our audiences for them to understand that by conserving our natural resources, our wildlife, they can avoid certain emerging diseases which contaminate humans and wildlife.
With ample evidence linking COVID-19's transmission from animal to man, the rise in zoonotic diseases has made such a training of journalists even more timely.
We live in a very interactive way where humans interact with the environment and the wildlife that are found in this environment. Because of this interaction, of course, there are some transmission of diseases, viruses coming from the animals to human beings. They call them zoonotic diseases. In order to ensure that people understand and take the necessary precaution, we need to have a very robust and clear communication.
The workshop, which has been organized by media networks RESEAC and RERAC with technical and financial support of COMIFAC and GIZ, will equip journalists on One Health content creation.
We will develop a spot that will run through the radio. We will develop mini drama so that educate the population on the value of how to integrate, how to live with plants, animals.
At the end of the gathering, common communication strategy is expected to be elaborated to push forth the agenda of One Health.
And journalists drawn from other parts of Cameroon are also being trained on advanced data journalism techniques by Media and Democracy International. Experts' focus is on fact-checking and good reporting skills, as we hear the following story with Saleh Sherifa.
To equip a critical mass of journalists and media on advanced fact-checking and data journalism techniques, Media and Democracy International experts took charge in coaching journalists on how to stage and produce reliable content. Within the editorial staff, awareness will be raised among public authorities on the need to fight against the propagation of fake news.
It's very important right now in Cameroon regarding different contexts like the Anglophone crisis and also the post-electoral crisis.
The training is being carried out in 6 countries of the Central and West Africa sub-regions. 10 journalists are completely being trained in Cameroon on fact-checking.
Most of journalists and most of media houses has their account on social media where they also have many followers. So it is very important to see how to address this question is to give skill to journalists to see how they can tackle this issue.
According to the experts, journalists should be taught with modern ways of fact-checking.
Honors to a retired Commissioner Ngwanyep and Benjamin this day in Douala. The official funeral ceremony was presided at by the Littoral Delegates for National Security. Retired Police Commissioner Ngwanyep Benjamin, before his demise, had occupied top positions in the Cameroon Police Corps, as we hear in the following story.
His career as a police commissioner earned him a reputation in Cameroon, honored with several medals of different ranks, and though gone to the land of no return, he's still been described as a police commissioner par excellence. Police Commissioner Ngwanyep Benjamin is said to have died 2 years after going on retirement. His remains were removed from the Garnison Military Hospital mortuary and later laid at the Besenge ceremonial ground for police honors this Thursday, September 23. A ceremony presided at by the Regional Delegate for National Security, representing the Delegate General for National Security. Friends and family members and beyond join at the official ceremony in Douala to give the departed a befitting burial. The eldest child and heads of family describe their dad as their hero. The retired police commissioner Ngwanyep Benjamin, before his death, had occupied top position in the police corps. He had served as director for public security and also inspector general at the delegation for national security in Yaoundé. He would be laid to rest this weekend in his native village in the west region of Cameroon.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. Coming up next is The Brief. We'll have news in the French language at exactly 19h50 with Alain Gislain Kanga. As for me, I'll be back tomorrow for another edition. Good night.